Let's talk about Ben. Ben Shapiro is going to Berkeley, and he's now become the news. You know, he has become the news because I'm reading about him in the New York Times. I'm reading about him in the Wall Street Journal. There was an editorial today, and every time I see the story covered, it says Berkeley braces for Ben Shapiro. Berkeley braces for the arrival of Ben Shapiro, and I keep thinking, you know, we here at the Daily Wire, Ben arrives at the Daily Wire every day. We never brace for him. Why? Because he's a perfectly pleasant, decent human being who comes in and does his work and chats with everybody amiably and then goes home like the rest of us do. There's no reason to brace for Ben Shapiro, and that's not what they're bracing for. They're bracing for the leftist thugs who create violence when people try to exercise their right to free speech. That's what they're bracing for, and it's just an incredible example of the leftist tendency of media, even on Fox News, because they're all in the same kind of bubble together, no matter what their opinions are. They're all in the same kind of bubble where they're saying, oh, they're bracing for Ben Shapiro. They're not bracing for Ben Shapiro. They're bracing for Antifa. Yesterday, I tweeted that, you know, Ben never hurt anybody. They're not bracing for him. And people were actually tweeting back at me, you can't say Ben never hurt anyone. He hurt people's feelings, and that's important. No, it's not. It's not important that you hurt people's feelings. It's important if you hurt your wife's feelings. It's important if you hurt your children's or your friends' feelings. But when you're a thinker and a speaker, people are coming to you to seek for truth. You may not be right. You're just seeking for truth. Everyone who speaks and seeks for truth is going to hurt someone's feelings. Martin Luther King hurt people's feelings. You know, everybody who seeks the truth is going to hurt people's feelings. That's what free speech is about. You don't have to go to these things. You don't have to go. And you know, the New York Times, Barry Weiss in the New York Times, which is a former newspaper, you may have heard of it. You know, she writes this thing where she says she supports Shapiro. She says the brouhaha over Ben Shapiro is significant, not because of what might go down Thursday at Berkeley, but because it is a perfect exhibition of a much broader phenomenon, increasingly apparent in the wake of Charlottesville, the sloppy conflation between actual white supremacists and run-of-the-mill conservatives, libertarians, and classical liberals, whose main beef is with some on the left who seem like they'd rather do without the First Amendment. And that, first of all, is not sloppy. The New York Times does it on purpose. Most of the mainstream media does it on purpose. They link us together. We have to answer the question. Any conservative, especially a senator, has to answer the question, do you support, you know, the neo-Nazis? But none of the senators and none of the congressmen on the left have to answer whether they support Antifa, who are fascists. They call themselves anti-fascists, but so what? I call myself a gazelle. That doesn't make me a gazelle. They're fascists. You know, and I just think that this is, you know, this is an example. I disagreed with the New York Times because it's not about the fact that Ben is a decent guy putting forward a perfectly reasonable opinion. Even if he weren't, he'd have the right to free speech. Your feelings don't matter. He has the right to free speech. This is how we find the truth, by listening to one another or refusing to listen to one another and staying home. This is how mankind moves forward. The only way. We've tried everything else. This is the way that works. My favorite reaction to this has come from The Onion, which says, there's an article in The Onion, college encourages lively exchange of idea. From Boston, saying that such a dialogue was essential to the college's academic mission, Trescott University President Kevin Abrams confirmed Monday that the school encourages a lively exchange of one idea. As an institution of higher learning, we recognize that it's inevitable that certain contentious topics will come up from time to time, and when they do, we want to create an atmosphere where both students and faculty feel comfortable voicing a single homogeneous opinion, said Abrams, adding that no matter the subject, anyone on campus is always welcome to add their support to the accepted consensus. Quote, whether it's a discussion of a national political issue or a concern here on campus, an open forum in which one argument is uniformly reinforced is crucial for maintaining the exceptional learning environment we have cultivated here. It's a lively exchange of idea.